All right, so I'd like to welcome you all to our third day of our virtual open week this year. And in this session, we will be learning about advanced diploma and vocational programs. And that will be presented by Paul Celenza, and he is our college manager. Now, let us go ahead and make sure that our notification not popping up on our screens. So please go to the lower right corner of your screen and please click on the gear icon in here. You can see that. Click on the gear icon and you can see those boxes under notification settings. When you do that, please make sure that all boxes are not checked or unticked so that you won't be seeing pop-ups in your screen later on. All right. And just a reminder to everyone, this webinar will be, or this session will be recorded, and we will also be sending you a copy of the recording and a copy of the slides in the next 2 business days via email. So you will see them in your email. Please monitor your junk folder as well, just to make sure that you would receive them. And later on, we will be also giving you the link for the prize draw. But for now, I would like to hand you over to Paul. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks everyone for coming today. We'll talk about the vocational courses today. It's really amazing. Like I've been at EIT for coming on 13 years, so quite a long time. It's always amazing for me to see people from all over the world. Right, we literally have students from everywhere. Just in this room today, we have people from South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, Philippines, Australia. We have students from all over the place. It's a really, really fantastic uh, chance that we all have to communicate in real time. And it doesn't matter where you are, it can be any location at all, which is fantastic. Lisa, I don't have the ability to move the slides. Would you be able to assist? Sure what's
Sure,
happened there.
I'd be more than happy to.
Oh wait, no,
You
that's
can't
good. I've
move
got
the
it. No,
arrows?
it's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
No, I got it. Sorry, I was having a moment.
no worries.
Everyone registered for the webinar will receive a copy of the PDF slides and a link to the video recording. It's recording at the moment, so you'll get that in the next few days. Just remember, please, everyone, check your junk folder just in case it goes into there. It shouldn't go into there, but just in case. So we're talking about the vocational courses today. What we say in the industry is VET courses. On the screen here, you can see some of our more popular courses. Maybe in the chat box, it doesn't matter if it's the wrong answer, but just what do you think would be, maybe what do you think is our most popular course? These are not all of our courses. The course that we usually have the most students that study. Any ideas? Can be anything. Just maybe type in the chat box if you can. So while everyone's typing in the chat box, just talk a little bit about them. So the courses are either 18 months or 2 years in length. So, for example, the top one, the Advanced Diploma of Industrial Automation Engineering, it's an 18-month course, as is the Advanced Diploma of Applied Electrical Engineering, Electrical Systems course. It's also an 18-month course. But the Advanced Diploma of Civil and Structural Engineering, that's a 2-year course. So there's a number of different courses, either 18 months or 2 years at the advanced diploma level qualification. The courses that we offer, these ones on the screen, but also others, many of them we've created ourselves. So what we've done is we've essentially gone to industry. Some of you people in the room, your companies may have provided feedback on these courses. We go to industry and we say, what's happening in industry? What do students at an advanced diploma level need to know, right? And then we have a team of highly skilled, highly qualified engineers. They put the courses together, right? Also, we get feedback from the students as students study a course. Those courses, for example, that have run before, and we're looking at updating them when they reaccrediting those courses. We get feedback from students, general feedback as well from students, but also from our instructors. We have a lot of fantastic instructors based all around the world, just like our students are. And we put these courses together so we know that these courses do meet the needs of industry. We have feedback throughout courses. We ask for feedback from students and employers throughout the courses. Students provide us with feedback. So we know, we can say with some confidence and some certainty that the courses really do tick the boxes of industry, which is important when we're talking about vocational education and training. It's important that when you study a course that it represents industry, right? What's happening in industry. And we'll talk about, as we sort of progress through the slides, we'll sort of talk a little bit about in how we do that, the things that we do to make sure that the students receive a strong, really strong, high quality learning experience. And there's a few things you'll notice as we sort of progress that EIT do quite differently to other organizations perhaps that you would have studied with before. In answer to the question, we'll go through the chat box now. We have civil, a lot of people saying civil, industrial automation, mechanical, a good mix of them. The most popular course that we have is the very first one, the 52886 Advanced Diploma of Industrial Automation Engineering. Very closely followed by the second one, 52883 WA Advanced Diploma of Applied and Electrical Engineering and Electrical Systems. There is another qualification that's similar, it's 2 years in length, but they're our two most popular courses. Actually, in order of the most popular is actually in order of the first four. So people were pretty close. Logan, I see, mentioned industrial automation, and so did others in the room, which is good. They're all popular, but there's no good course, there's no bad course. It entirely depends on what you're doing the training for. What are you hoping to get out of the training? Where you see your sort of career progression go. Yes, Logan's the winner. That's right. Other courses, obviously, if I was to put all the courses on here, then the slides would be very long and would just be, well, you can see all the different courses on our website. A couple of different ones to note, though, is the graduate certificate in renewable energy technologies. As we know, renewable energies is the new buzzword, isn't it, in industry? A lot of jobs being created in that area as the world moves on to renewable technologies. And also, many of our students, as a secondary course, I guess they usually do a technical course like one of the ones in the previous slide, but then they'll go and do a diploma of leadership and management. It's a different set of skills, still important, right? As you progress in your career, you work to be able to lead and manage. And we actually put a number of our staff actually through this qualification as well. It's a really solid qualification. We did not create this qualification, like I was saying before in those other courses, the Diploma of Leadership Management. It's a package that we have permission to award qualifications for. What we have is Moodle. Now, Moodle is a learning management system, and what it is essentially is our major communication tool with students. You can all imagine that if we were to email you all the assignments, all the slides, all the readings, all the bits and pieces that you need, that your inbox would get very cluttered very quickly, and it would be very difficult for you to know, to actively manage the course, right? So what we do is we put onto our learning management system a whole gamut of materials and information for you. Perhaps in the chat box, what would you expect to see on our learning management system Moodle? Again, does not matter if it's the wrong answer. And while you're doing that, we'll sort of just continue, so we don't have that uncomfortable silence that nobody really likes, right? Students will have a login to Moodle, right? and it's a single login. From Moodle, your students are able to access a range of different other things. The remote, the e-labs, e-library, the which we'll talk about a little bit more. A lot of these things we'll talk about a little bit more, but the the remote labs or the e-labs, the webinar software, all these bits and pieces. So what that means, and then the benefit for students, is that we don't have to send you 4 or 5 different logins, right? Everyone has already in their personal lives too many logins they have to remember. So at EIT, you just have to remember one login, right? You log into Moodle, and from there you can go to different places, right? Depending on what you need to do at any period of time. Moodle structured. It's highly customized to suit our needs. Essentially, you have a course that's split up into different sections. Each sort of unit contains individual materials. And as Keegan has said there, it has the assignments, yep, and the results, study material, yep, readings, slides, pre-recordings, right? So you can, so when you do attend one of our live webinars, you understand what is sort of happening with what's going to happen with the next webinar. Students will, there's a little thing down the side there where the students will access different sections quickly. It's very, very, very user friendly. And in the main page, or you can go down the main page. But as Keegan has said there in the chat box, students will be able to download their assessments, I should say, from Moodle. They'll complete their assessments and they'll also upload to Moodle. So it makes it really, really useful and easy. Essentially, everything you need for the course will be on Moodle. And the Moodle will be available to students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? It's always available to students. As we know, with software, you need to make updates quite regularly. So what we do is we schedule any updates for times that it's least being used, you could say. We know with data when are the peak times for students to access Moodle. So we make sure that we do some updates, and there'll be a notice on Moodle at that time, so you don't try and log in knowing where you're unsuccessful in logging in. There'll be a notification up saying updates, because we're constantly updating, constantly improving, constantly making things a little bit better for the students. We also have a designated learning support officer. Now we call them LSOs, and we have LSOs in different parts of the world, reflects our students and our instructors. So we have LSOs in Johannesburg in South Africa. We have LSOs in Zimbabwe. I noticed there was someone in the room here is from Zimbabwe. The Philippines, we have LSOs, also someone in the room here from the Philippines. Australia, and also New Zealand helps us really a great deal with the time zones of the students. But essentially, an LSO is there to help you throughout the course, right? They're not engineers, right? They will manage Moodle with the software learning management system that I mentioned a moment ago. They'll make sure that it's up to date, make sure that it looks good, that there's a seamless progression with the course. They'll do other things like manage compliance, making sure, because it's a formal qualifications that we're providing, and there's rules around that. So the LSOs will make sure that the course is compliant. But for the benefit of the students is that, I guess we've all had the situation where you call up a company, tell your story, whatever it is, that person on the other end of the phone can't answer your question. They'll transfer you to someone else, and then you'll tell your story again, and that goes on until you eventually find someone, hopefully, that can help you. We don't do that at EIT. At EIT, we have LSO for one course. you'll develop a relationship with these LSOs. Remember, these courses can be 18 months or 2 years in duration. So over time, they'll get to know you pretty well. You'll get to know the LSO pretty well. They'll respond to you. They'll have an understanding of which course you're in. They'll know where that course is up to, what for example, unit is studying next, who the instructor is, a range of different things. The LSO is there to help and support you. And they'll also, if you're falling behind, they'll also contact you and say, look, you're falling behind. What can I do? What do we need to do to get you back on track so that you can successfully complete the course? So they're a huge resource for us, and really, really, really beneficial for the students. They guide the students through the point where you apply for a course, and then one LSO right through until you graduate, right? So the students will apply through some software. The LSOs at the back end will see that. They'll be able to assess your suitability for the course. We'll talk about the suitability a bit later on another slide. And then guide you right throughout the course. They'll be sending emails at the start of a course, giving you little snippets of information, and if anyone's like a little bit confused, maybe you don't know what to do, then there's one person to contact, and you won't have to tell them your story. They'll know exactly which course you're in, where the course is up to, and they have a lot of experience in how best to help you. We find that's the best way so that students are students are aware that they're not alone. They might be studying in some far-flung area of the world, but all the LSOs are there, and they'll help you right throughout. Ultimately, it's the students will need to successfully complete the course, but in terms of guidance and help and support, the LSOs are one of the resources that we use to help students with those. I like the comment here from Sharon, one of our LSOs based in Perth, in Western Australia. As an LSO, it is rewarding to start a course, then follow, encourage and support students through to the end and see them achieve their qualification. And we've seen this. It's really fantastic at the graduation ceremonies, for example, or at the end of a course where a student has said, look, thank you. I've managed to get a senior management position. I've got a better job. Helps, and it's just really, really, really positive to see. I actually got one of those emails earlier today, which was really pleasing to see. It's a little bit slow with the moving of the slides. Just talking a little bit now about the specific resources, because many of you are probably thinking like, what sort of resources does EIT provide? What I've done in this slide is put some logos. Does that maybe type in the chat box if you've heard of any of these things before? It's on our learning on Moodle. I'll use Moodle now rather than Learning Management System. It's much shorter. So Moodle, each module will have a readings guide, right? Some readings that you should read, right, in order to be successful with the unit. And that readings guide will, and then from there, what you'll do is you'll go to the e-library and access the readings that you need, that is specified for each unit, right? The unit that you're studying at the moment. There'll be a set of slides that so you can follow what the live webinars the instructor is saying. Those slides will reflect the slides that the instructor is delivering at that point in time. So you can follow along. A lot of students like to write notes on those as well. You can keep those. You'll have access also to the remote labs, as we mentioned before. We'll talk a little bit about the remote labs later. Pre-recordings will be there as well, so that you can have a look at and have a bit of an understanding, or a strong understanding of what the next topic will be about. So you're not going in blind. You're not going in there and you're not sure, having to figure everything out at that point in time. There'll be a pre-recording there. You can do your own research then, and then that'll help you. And we recommend that strongly because that means that when you do that, then you're able to ask more pointed questions at the instructor in the live webinar, just to sort of help you with clarifying things that you don't quite understand. As we know, everyone in the room would kind of know that engineering is a tricky subject, right? There is some times when things will be pretty conceptually challenging, and so a little bit of extra knowledge and support with that goes a long way. And usually it can be something small that you're just not quite getting, that the instructor can clarify pretty quickly and easily. We also, I know students learn in different ways, so there'll be a series of videos, for example, that talk you through different sort of areas that are that benefit you in that in the unit that you're studying. And as I mentioned before, there is assessments. So there's quizzes. The quizzes will be on Moodle. You'll go through the quiz. You'll have 3 attempts at the quiz. You have to get 100% in the quiz in each of the quizzes, right? And the assessments. The assessments will usually be 2. One will be like a written, or you could say a theory-based assessment, and the other one is a practical assessment. And the practical assessments will test your practical knowledge. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. And each unit will have different assessments depending on the requirements of the unit. So that so we need to make sure, because it is a formal qualification that you're studying, that we properly assess you, right? But we do also, as we can see, give a great deal of resources around that. And I see in the chat box, Morris here, IEEE he's heard of as well. Just go through them. IEEE Explore, many people in engineering would know IEEE. IDC Technologies, IDC is a sister company of EIT. And we, over many years, we've developed a series of resources that we maintain in our publishing department, or academic resources department, I think they're called now, maintain, and we provide that information to the students. Novel as well, very well known, a series of books and a series of resources in that library that students can access, and also open access. One of the good things about the resources is, obviously, if you were to go through in huge detail every single unit, then we would be asking you to study a 5-year advanced diploma. Now, we know that people can't study 5-year advanced diplomas. It's too long, right? So we can't cover everything within a unit. The way to look at it is a unit is like a little self-contained subject area. So if you wish to, maybe you're in your particular working role, maybe you need more information, perhaps that the course, more depth that the course can cover, then you're able to go into the Novell library and read on that too as you wish. All advanced diploma students have access to all of these materials, right? So while they're on the course, they have access to a massive resource through our e-library. Same also goes, I guess, for the remote labs. Maybe in your work, maybe there's some software that you're not quite familiar with. Maybe you can jump onto our remote labs, any remote lab being an advanced diploma student, and then you can play around on the lab, familiarize yourself, get better at that lab. You can do that with any lab on our library, in our remote lab area as well. I touched on this before. One of the benefits of being online is that we're able to source instructors from all over the world. We're not stuck to any small geographical location, right? So we can literally get the best instructors from anywhere. Now, one of the things that, because there are vocational education and training questions, qualifications, it's really important that the instructors not only have the significant qualifications, and they do have significant qualifications, the qualification is also a compliance requirement, but they have a huge amount of industry experience. These are people that have been where you are now, have been there, they've done that, they've seen many years of in the industry, so they're real truly experts in the subject area that they are instructing. That's why we don't have one instructor doing a whole advanced diploma, for example, right? Each unit will have an instructor that will go in that really does know the subject area inside and out, and they can provide you with industry examples of where it's used, understand perhaps where students may have some difficulty in that subject area, and can help you with that. Instructors are also there for for questions, right? Every webinar, at the end of the webinar and throughout the webinar, um, instructors will ask for questions. And so it's really important, in order to get the most out of it, that the students are as interactive as possible. If you're not sure of something, feel free and feel comfortable to say, I don't understand that. You'd be surprised. Maybe, two or three other people in the webinar will also have the same thoughts as you. So feel free to communicate in the webinars. Also, the instructors are available for questions outside of the webinar time, right? So you can, pop an email across to the instructor. Often, maybe with an assignment, student may be not sure about what the question's asking, how best to answer. And so the instructors daily will receive communications from students asking them for clarity, and the instructors really do want the instructors to do well, to understand, right? It's a sense of pride. So they'll help the students in it, right throughout the unit that you're studying. Looks like I'm taking a bit too long. My apologies. Um, this is an important slide, the time commitment and entry requirements, right? So you need to be able to successfully complete an advanced diploma, right? You really need about 15 hours per week, right? Now, this is based on feedback from many years of students, right? There will be some units in there that maybe you work in at the moment and maybe you're more familiar with. Perhaps less time is required. But it's really important that you're able to allocate a good 15 hours a week towards your studies. There's a lot to go through, right? There's all the readings, the live webinars, the assessment preparation, and just the understanding. Many students will watch the recording of a webinar 2-3 times, right? So they get a really strong grasp of what it is. So I would recommend everyone in the room today, if you don't have a good 15 hours, then wait until you do have a good 15 hours before you enroll. You'll make the most of, if you do this, you'll make the most of the course. As when you graduate, you'll be a strong graduate, and you'll then be able to apply what you know, what you've learned, to your workplace in a positive way. We have entry requirements, formal qualifications, and we really do need to stick to these entry requirements. They're pretty explanatory there. Students need to have, like in terms of a qualification, at least year 12 or a Cert 3 trade level qualification, and a couple of years, solid couple of years industry experience in the industry. They also need to be able to have a strong command over the English language. We put these entry requirements in there because it protects the students. We found that students that have these entry requirements, there's a very strong chance that they'll be able to successfully complete the course. If not, then people can struggle to to successfully complete the course. And we all want everyone that joins the course to successfully complete the course. So a quick note on the accreditation, right? One of the questions I sometimes receive is this course internationally accredited, right? The fact is there's no such thing. Every country has their own, um, education and training requirements. Each country has their own system, right? So there's no course in the world that is internationally accredited, right? So, but what there is these things called the accords, right? And the one that relates to the vocational courses is the Dublin Accord. Essentially, all of these industry bodies they've gotten together and they recognise qualifications um, within the signatories, right? So, for example, courses that are accredited under the Dublin Accord, if through Australia, well, that's recognised by what do we have in the room here? South Africa, EXA in South Africa. A range of different countries, industry bodies will recognise the qualifications, give students mobility if they wish to go travel with the qualification, and also these are very difficult to get. We went got into the accord through Engineers Australia, and it was a many year process, and really rigorous audits before they were satisfied, and before we were able to have courses accredited under the Dublin Accord, which I'm pleased to say that we have a number of courses that are accredited under the Dublin Accord. It's really good. Outside of that, we're also accredited with us under the Australian system. We're a registered training organisation. Only a registered training organisation can award qualifications. And for your benefit, our provider number is 51971. So, yep, so just on Sam's, I see Sam's put a comment. The signatories, Sam, so are all here. So in Europe, um, the Engineering Council of the United Kingdom is a signatory to the to the Dublin Accord. And the Dublin Accord, Maurice, is just all the industry bodies that recognise qualifications within those bodies, right? So talked a little bit about the remote labs before. Um, the remote labs are really fantastic. The students really do rave about them, right? They're as we know in our working lives, the you're using a lot of software nowadays, right? When you do your job, right? Um, so we replicate those labs on our remote labs. We software engineering software has a few problems, right? Generally speaking, one of them is that it really depends on the software, on the computer system that the student is using. Generally, they're not Mac compatible. There's a range of other sort of issues with engineering software. So to get around that, what we do is we have um, labs on our system. It's an internally developed system, right, called ElectroMeet, that over many years we have developed. And essentially what happens is students will log into our labs. So you don't need the most fancy computer. You don't need the super high spec gaming computer to be able to do the course, right? A reasonably modern computer will be fine, right? You'll log into our labs and perform whatever tasks that is required depending on the unit that you're studying. They're really good. We have a whole team of people that sort of manage these, keep updating them, making sure that they're up to date. A lot of license. You can understand it's quite a big thing. It's quite a like there's a lot of yeah, a lot of licensing required and all the bits and pieces associated. They work really well. You can lock off time that's just for you, so no one's so you can sit there slowly, perform the task that you need to do. So They're really, really good. Breaks it up a little bit about as well. We can just send you a textbook. The remote labs change it a bit, give you that real hands-on practical experience that you would expect. What I'll do now is I'll pass it over to Stanley. Now, Stanley Willers is he's an alumni. He's previously completed a couple of different courses at EIT as a student, right? The Advanced Diploma of Industrial Automation Engineering, and also the Graduate Certificate in Renewable Energy Technologies. The Advanced Diploma of Industrial Automation Engineering is an 18-month course, and the Graduate Certificate in Renewable Energy Technologies, quite a mouthful, is a 6-month course. So he's well placed to give you some thoughts as a student, right? Um, so what I'll do, I'll hand you over to Stanley. Now, Stanley, maybe if you can, tell us what was your experience like with EIT?
Hi, hi, Paul. Thanks for the introduction. Experience with the IT was exceptionally enjoyable. Um, I must say, in all the time I've spent with them, the course materials, like you said, everything is available on Moodle. Moodle is like a Facebook page. It's easy to navigate. You've got your own profile, your own study materials. You've got your slides, your schedules. Everything is there, um, and everything is well structured. We've got um, busy lives, and having that support that guides you through the process. If it's a 2-year study or 6-month study, it guides you through the process and gives you that that milestones, that a lead time to study and read and get your slides and your readings and everything that you need to cover for the topic. And any questions that you have is available in the webinars. So my experience with EIT was enjoyable. It was hard. It's hard work. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to take on and complete, but I've done it and I'll do it again.
And what made you study these courses consecutively?
So um, at the time, I was spending about 12 years on power stations, and I worked in quality assurance, quality control, engineering, mostly welding engineering. And I was looking for something else. I was at the peak of where I could be, and looking for a easier life, a more work-life balance. And I came about EIT about 5 years ago, and giving me that opportunity to look at further studies to improve myself and give me some surety into the future, job surety. I was looking into what I know, and with the 12 years I spent on ESCOM, I studied or applied for the Advanced Diploma in Industrial Automation, and there were some entry requirements, and luckily I had those at hand, and with the exceptional work experience, of course, and yeah, so I went into that just to get something behind me that's not just a certificate. The Advanced Diploma really opened doors. After graduation, I immediately started getting offers, and my life changed. I moved away from power stations. I wasn't working 24/7, and I'm in a more relaxed environment. Like now, I'm working from home, and I've got time on my hands like you can't believe. Um, the graduate certificate is something that I actually wanted to start with, but I wasn't qualified to enroll. So um, this is something that came from about about 10 years ago, is having or making or generating power and distributing power and understanding what it's about. So a lot of research went into this before I even started any studies with EIT, but I'm where I want to be. And the accreditation, as you said, is conclusive. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that I'm not capable or qualified in the work that I do and the engineering I put into this. And I believe that the two of them combined in automation and controlling these systems, it's all power. And there's a lot of things that comes with that. There's responsibility and safety, and being aware of the impact that you might have by implementing a large system and playing with these large systems. So it's about implementing something, but also being in control and getting something, to work as intended. So why did I pick these two? It's just something that I was curious about and something that I had to explore, and I'm glad I did.
So how did balancing the programs impact your time management and overall approach to learning?
Paul, this was difficult. This was very difficult, but planning is key. Um, Working, having a family, and then making time to study and actually learn these things for your exams and your quizzes and spending time on your assignments. But it's all about planning. If you structure your life around a visible um, presentation, you go into Excel, you take your your work-life balance, and you just plan it out. And you say, these are my milestones. This is what I need to do. This is the time management that I need to implement to get study done. Spend 2 hours a day doing something. Getting up earlier, working late. But if you have a plan, then you can work according to that plan. And time management is key here because you don't have time. You are set to complete this course in 18 months or 6 months or whatever the case might be. But if you plan in advance, you can see if you're falling behind or if you are leading and if you're learning. So time management is key. You need to understand that there's some sacrifices involved when studying online. Luckily, this is online, so you have the diversity of doing things your way. Attend classes when you can, and do assignments. You spend time on these things and you make it work. You set your goals and you get your milestones, and once it's achieved, you're done.
And some advice, what advice would you give to other students considering a similar path of diverse educational pursuits?
Yeah. So, um, any advice I can give somebody is if you everybody's here, and I can see there's a diverse amount of people, a lot of people, yeah, that's interested in further studies. And it doesn't matter where your curiosity lies. It can be any of these courses that's presented by EIT. And it's all about you and where you are and where you want to be. And that's the only way something can transform is when you transform it. You make a choice to study something, complete it, get the accreditation, and and you know push for success. That's what we're here for. We want to educate people. We are curious. We are hunger. We are hungry people. So we're all always hungry. We want more. So if if there's something that you believe in, you can achieve, then go for it. Just commit and complete the stuff that's that that studies and make a difference in your own life because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Thank you very much, Stanley. There's a lot of really important sort of um, advice that some key points that Stanley mentioned there. Like it's not an easy journey, um, but it is a rewarding journey, right? And it is achievable. We have lots of
Yeah,
graduates, right? It's just really important. Um, and it can be done, people with families and pressure jobs. We understand this, right? But it is an advanced diploma it's a dedicated pursuit, right? You need to be really focused in achieving the qualification. If you do that, then the outcome will be really positive. Um, it's not like often, receiving a formal qualification is a good thing, right? But what really sets people apart, I guess, in industry is what right? Like with Stanley going into those organizations and clearly knows what he's doing, right? Knows what he's talking about, and the outcome is positive because of that. So thank you very much, Stanley, for providing the everyone here with your thoughts on that.
it's my pleasure. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate being here.
Okay, everyone. So we have the prize draw. Hopefully, you can all the screen is big, so you can scan the QR code. you'll go into a draw if you do it for an EIT gift or merchandise pack or an online ticket to the upcoming Hydrogen Safety and Hazardous Areas Conference, right? So we really love to see your feedback. We want to make sure, as with all things that we do, that we're presenting it in the way that benefits students, right? So that they're getting, when people come to something like this, that they're getting the information that they wanted, essentially. And that can be done really through feedback provided. So really appreciate everyone sort of doing that and coming here today. So what we'll do now, I'll help. I see Lisa has been fantastically going through some of the questions in the chat box. You're welcome to stay around and read some of the responses, but I'll stay here also and respond to some of the things in the chat box as well. So again, thank you all for taking the time coming and speaking to us today. I hope we have you, we see your name on a course at some point in the near future. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Paul, I think there are certain questions that I think you would be the best person to answer. So we have one
No
here
problem.
from Logan. He said, "How does these advanced diplomas compare to a trade apprenticeship?"
Good question. So the qualification levels are governed by what's known as the Australian Qualification Framework, the AQF. Essentially looking at, and essentially the AQF determines the level of qualification. So a trade qualification is a level 3 qualification. An advanced diploma is a level 6 qualification. So essentially, an advanced diploma level qualification is a significantly higher qualification than a trade level qualification. A couple of other small differences as well is the trade qualification gives you a license to perform something. For example, electrician. Many people here maybe would be electricians, right? By getting that trade qualification, that means you can go into, depending on your job, a house and perform lighting works legally, right? The advanced diploma is a little bit different. It's a higher, more cognitive, higher level qualification. So it depends on what you're wanting to do in your career. If you're wanting to go and become an electrician, then the trade qualification is the way to go. Whereas an advanced diploma is where you're more leading people, managing people, so to speak. Obviously, I'm speaking very generally at the moment. Different trade qualifications and advanced diplomas. There's lots of sort of variations in that as well. I guess one of the things that I can say is that many of our advanced diploma students have already completed a trade qualification. Before, you may have seen the entry requirements. You can cert like a level 12 or a cert 3, right? People that have completed a trade qualification, maybe they've been on the tools for a very long time, maybe want to get off the tools, right? For whatever reason, they'll do a higher level qualification, and that would be ideally largely an advanced diploma course, because then it gives them skills where they can change their work, move into higher level sort of work. Any more questions, Lisa?
Yes, there's one here regarding the materials. It
Mm.
is, hold on, let me just go back to it. That's from Patrick. He is asking if these resources available to us only during the course, or can they access these materials or references even after graduating or finishing the course?
So it depends on the materials. So the materials on Moodle, that you can, students will be able to take those off. Like if it's like all your slides, your readings, and all the assignments and all that sort of stuff, all that sort of information, students can keep indefinitely. The access to the e-library is only while you're on the course, though. Any more, Lisa?
Yes. Hold on. I think there's one here. So I know that exams will be done fully online since the course is fully online. This is for Paul number two here. Do you have anything to add to that, Paul, about the exams?
Yeah. So what we need to do, because we're talking about qualifications, is make sure we properly assess students, right? So we have these internal mapping documents, I guess, that the students don't see. It's basically maps all the requirements, and we look at making sure that that this section is properly assessed. And also, it goes down to significant detail, even in terms of the slides that matches up and the readings and everything like that. So all of the assessments are online. So the students, and usually there'll be a written assignment and a practical assignment within a unit, as well as a quiz that changes depending on different requirements of the unit. The students will essentially you can look at the assignments as being like little mini projects. You go away, you do it, you'll submit that through Moodle, and then they're assessed and feedback is provided. I saw there's a question about the group assessments from Sam. Are there group assessments? There are group assessments. We have a unit called the Fundamentals of Professional Engineering. Interestingly, um, the reason for that is because it's one of the requirements for Engineers Australia, and essentially that it covers the stage one competencies that Engineers Australia require. And there's a group project for that unit. And that unit is throughout the qualifications as well. So it's a really good one. Um, Budgeting, time management, a range of different sort of skills, ethics that Engineers Australia felt was required when a student completes an advanced diploma. Some skills, you could say, I guess you could say, soft skills is a poor way of saying it, non-technical skills that Engineers Australia believe that students should know. And essentially what that means is they've got a series of stage one competencies that is there that covers. So there is a group project in most almost all of the courses, if not all of them. Any more, Lisa? All right. Thank you everyone for coming today. I hope it was beneficial. Hope that you got a better understanding of EIT and how we run the courses.
All right. So for those who would have more questions, I encourage you to send your questions to our webinars team email. Um, we have our contact information here as well. For those who'd like to visit our website, you can go to www.eit.edu.au. For those who are in Perth, you can visit our office at 1031 Wellington Street in West Perth. We also have phone numbers in here listed for those that are calling from outside Australia and from inside Australia. Also, please send an email to webinars at eit.edu.au for those who have more questions, and we will be answering those questions or channel you to the right person if necessary. And we also have our upcoming courses in here. Just go to www.eit.edu.au/schedule. And a couple more questions earlier that I'd like to address as well. um, for Samuel Jaja, yes, if you go to the course page for an advanced diploma, there are potential job outcomes that would be listed in there. So even if you don't reside in Australia, as long as the company that you're applying for would recognize that particular advanced diploma, then it would be helpful in your career as well. And Richard Naval, you have a question here. If you can submit your degree certificate and graduate certificate for consideration, yes, please. Whenever you are in doubt, please submit an application. We will be assessing that case by case. Or you may also book a call with a course advisor. Let me just go ahead and get that link for you real quick. Sorry, Paul. Can I just
Yeah, no, no
give
problems
them
at
the
all.
link quickly? Thank you. So for those who would like to have like a one-on-one discussion about your, goals, your career goals regarding engineering and whatever study path that you'd like to take, um, that is related to engineering, you can book a call with one of our course advisors. And here's the link that you can use. I just sent it in the chat box. So please take note of that. And you can choose your own date and time, and that course advisor will call you in that particular date or time that you have chosen. So it's a really great avenue for you to talk to someone and discuss about your engineering career plans and how EIT can help you in terms of providing you courses to make that happen. And yep, that's it. Again, if you have more questions, please send an email to webinars@eit.edu.au. And we thank you so much for your participation today. Special thanks to Paul for that thorough knowledge about our advanced diploma courses and other vet courses, and also to Stanley. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with EIT, and that was very inspiring to everyone. And to all who participated, thank you so much. We hope to see you in our next sessions. We still have our virtual open up until tomorrow, and we have another 5 p.m. session today. Just check our page if that relates to uh, your your field of specialization as well. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.